Hey, Fatso. Want to be on the internet? Right then. Hello again. It's the week of Thanksgiving, and I'm back with yet another episode of the podcast of interest to absolutely no one but myself. This time with my co-host Caliban, or as I like to call him, Lunchbox. Not a lot happened this week. It's been a short week, but I'll try to stir up something. First off, the wife and I ran an annual 5K on Saturday. This is a big deal for us because the last time we signed up for this race, we actually slept in and missed it. This time, though, we actually made it, so we can finally wear our t-shirts unironically. On Sunday, I bottled my Scottish ale, so I'm officially all ready for Christmas. Not sure what I want to brew next, though. Maybe a milk stout. I do like those. Or maybe I'll get away from the kids completely and try my hand at all grain brewing. I think I'm ready to make that step. We'll see. By the way, for my birthday, my wife got me this bonsai plant, which is kinda cool. It's just a little juniper, but I've always wanted to try my hand at bonsai, and even though I have no idea what I'm doing, I'll try to learn, and anything I figure out, I'll pass on to you guys. And that's pretty much it. And like I said, it's been a short week. An interesting opportunity did present itself, though, when Maureen noticed on Thursday night that there was a hole in the dryer hose. Remembering what a pain in the ass it was to put that thing together when we first moved into the house, I decided I'd make a tutorial of the replacement process so I could pass on any tricks I learned. So here you go. Before you get started, make sure that you have all the tools you need, because if your house is laid out like mine, then you'll block the door to the garage when you pull out the dryer, and if you keep your toolbox in the garage like I do, you'll either have to push the dryer back into place or put on your shoes and walk all the way around the house to get to the garage. For this project I used both a flathead and Phillips head screwdriver as well as a pair of scissors, and that was pretty much it. The first step is to pull out and unplug the dryer. Make sure you have the vacuum ready because it's going to be freaking disgusting back there. Each end of the hose is secured by a metal ring. Loosen the screw in the ring so you can slide the old hose off. Depending on the distance you have to travel, or in the event that you screw up, it's pretty easy to cut off a piece of the hose at the end and just start over. Now, attaching the new hose is just the opposite of removing the old one, but it can be a real pain in the ass because the exhaust on the back of the dryer is really short, so you have to work the screwdriver while butted up right against the back side of the machine, which is really awkward. I didn't learn any trick to do this, but you're just gonna have to muscle through it. Another thing I discovered is that while the old hose was soft and pliable, which is probably why it got a hole in it in the first place, the replacement hose was much more rigid, and this meant that in order to tighten the metal ring, I pretty much had to crush the tube, which took a lot of effort. I discovered something at this point. The ring that came with the new tube is shit. The way that they're designed, the tube bunches up in the hole where the screw goes, which makes it increasingly harder to tighten. The old rings were much better as they were designed to compress evenly all the way around the hose. When it comes time to replace your own dryer hose, make sure you have this kind of ring. It makes all the difference in the world. Once you've got your hose attached at both ends, plug the dryer in and slide it back into place. Make sure you do this slowly and keep checking to make sure that the hose doesn't get crushed, which could create a fire hazard. And that's how you do it. I hope you're able to use some of my tips to make things easier for yourself. This project was a real pain in the ass because the exhaust on the back of the dryer had a diameter that was about a ½ inch less of the replacement hose, so I had to do a lot of tightening. Also, our laundry closet is ridiculously small, so I had very little room to work in. But that's it for the tutorial, so it appears we're now at the part of the show where I talk unintelligently about movies. Public Enemies is a standard Depression-era gangster movie. If you like The Untouchables or Road to Perdition, you'll probably enjoy this movie too. High Noon was also pretty good. It's about a sheriff trying to drum up support to help him stand up to an outlaw who's coming into town on the noon train. The ending's a bit corny after an hour of really good build-up, but overall I'd say it's a pretty good movie. Speaking of movies with about an hour of good material, I also watched Ben-Hur. The problem in this case is that the movie is about 3.5 hours long. I'd say that the part from where Charlton Heston gets arrested to where he gets adopted by the Admiral is pretty good. And the chariot race is really fantastic too, but the rest of the movie is so god-awful you'll probably die of boredom before you even get to the chariot race. Supposing you do get to the chariot race, you can go ahead and turn the movie off once it's over, because the next 45 minutes are just Ben-Hur being a whiny little emo brat and a really weak-ass ending. I mean, I get it. The movie is really about Jesus, but if that's what I want to watch, I'd sooner recommend Monty Python's Life of Brian, Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, or the third Matrix movie, all of which are way better movies than Ben-Hur. So those are the movies I watched last week. Once Thanksgiving passes, we'll be in the Christmas season, and the wife and I have decided to do a Christmas movie marathon. I've also decided that this will be a good opportunity to spin off the movie segment into its own show. It doesn't really tie into the rest of what I'm doing here, and I'd kind of like some practice managing multiple shows with something easy like this before I try doing it with a show that's a lot more complex. Hey, wake up. Well, that's about it. I have to get up early tomorrow to run a Thanksgiving Day 8K. What the hell was I thinking when I let her talk me into that? Anyway, have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next week.